Hi, my name is John Skiba and I'm an attorney with the Arizona Consumer Law Group. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why if you're being sued by a junk debt buyer like Midland Funding, Portfolio Recovery, Cavalry SPV, CACH LLC, or a bunch of the other ones that are out there, if you're being sued by one of those debt buyers, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you should consider hiring an attorney. Now, I know this video is a little self-serving because I'm an attorney who represents people who are getting sued by debt buyers, but I've handled hundreds and possibly even thousands of these types of cases. I've done nearly 400 trials against junk debt buyers, so I know how a lot of these cases play out. And I want to give you some of my insight and knowledge that I've gained in dealing with these cases over such an extended period of time. The first reason you should consider hiring an attorney, and I say this with all respect, is that you don't know what you're doing. And before you look at me as some judgmental attorney, let me tell you this, that this is natural that you don't know what you're doing, because most people who have not gone to law school, who don't deal with these kind of things on a daily basis, they simply aren't aware of the procedures and the law that's in place that they have to follow to make sure that they're successful in their case. This is no different than if I were to go down to my father and my brother's place of employment where they are mechanics, they own a mechanic shop. When I go down there, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just the brother that doesn't know how to change his own oil. And so when you get into an area where you're not fully comfortable and you don't have the knowledge that's needed to be successful, you can run into some problems. So the first reason is you need someone who is there, who's been through the process, who knows the law, who knows what the rules of civil procedure are, so that you don't run into problems. You need to understand that if you're being sued by a junk debt buyer, here in Arizona, they're represented by collection law firms, by attorneys that deal with these cases every single day. They know the rules, they know the procedures, they know how certain courts require things to be done, things that you don't know, and so you're at an immediate disadvantage if you're representing yourself. The second reason is, if you represent yourself in these kind of cases, it will take over your life. I meet with people all the time, they're just stressed out beyond belief because not only are they trying to do their day job, they come home and they spend all night trying to prepare, trying to draft documents, and really get themselves up to speed on what the rules and law says as to how these cases are handled. Now, in Arizona, the courts are required to hold you to the same standards that they do attorneys who appear before them as far as their knowledge related to the rules of civil procedure and as to the law. That means if you make a misstep or if you miss a deadline, the court generally will not show you a whole lot of mercy on this. And so that's why it starts taking over your life, because you have to put in a serious amount of time to be able to draft the documents and get yourself up to speed on what the law is. So by hiring an attorney, you're really placing all of that burden on their shoulders and let the attorney handle all the minutia that comes with a case like this. The third thing is that you're likely going to get a better result in the case if you have an attorney who knows what they're doing as it relates to junk debt buyer cases. Most junk debt buyer lawsuits end in a default judgment. Over 95% of them do, because people don't respond to the underlying complaint and summons. However, those that do represent themselves and do file it on their own, it often ends poorly as well, because they will often file, they being the junk debt buyers, will often file a motion for summary judgment, which most people don't know how to respond to. Or even if the case goes to trial, people don't know how to make the appropriate objections to the evidence and the witnesses and things like that that they're presenting to the court. So you will often get a better result by hiring an attorney. Now, you're going to notice that I said often, and that's always my little asterisk here, is when you're in court, you've got to understand that at the end of the day, it's up to a judge or it's up to a jury. And no matter how good the attorney is that's presenting the defense, there is a possibility that the courts could rule against you. In Arizona, the justice courts are presided over by a justice of the peace. They are not attorneys and they're not legally trained, and they have different approaches to how these cases should be resolved. And because of that, you can have the same case and have it in different courts and actually get different results. So, but having an attorney will help you to get the best possible result that you can in your case. So those are just 3 quick reasons I think that you ought to consider hiring an attorney if you've been sued by one of the junk debt buyers. I have a free consultation where I can let you know specifically what the strengths and weaknesses of your case are. You can sign up for a free consult by going over to my website at consumerwarrior.com. That's consumerwarrior.com. Thanks for watching.